Hey there, how are you? I'm Sean McNally, and I'm going to be talking to you today about a movie that I absolutely love and treasure, and something I wanted to go ahead and pass along to the rest of the world. And that is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Absolutely wonderful coming of age story, of course, about a young girl, 11 years old, who's basically coming into her own as a young woman, and it's an absolutely beautiful film. Of course, we all know the book from Judy Blume, something that, of course, has been around for 50 plus years at this point, I believe. Something I went ahead and read when I was, I think, around 8 or 9 years old. I think the first time I ever read it. And something that's absolutely wonderful and really does a fantastic job in capturing that period of uncertainty that I think we all really kind of go through when we're going ahead and experiencing puberty and becoming an adult. So something like this, of course, is so incredibly relatable. It's so fun, and the movie does an absolutely fantastic job going ahead and capturing all of those experiences that we all experience, whether we're boys or girls or somewhere in between. And it's something that basically we're all very. I'm just really thankful to be able to go ahead and say that I really enjoyed. I went ahead and actually saw this movie last week with my wife and a sneak preview. That's the word I'm looking for. And I went ahead and actually saw it yesterday as well, because I just really enjoyed it a lot. And ultimately, it's a beautiful film. I'm not going to go ahead and go into all the specifics. There's no point, obviously. Don't want to go ahead and go into everything about the movie itself, but I want to go ahead and kind of touch on a couple of specific factors specifically, and then of course that's really just going to be a couple of the basic performers, and of course just kind of my overall thoughts about the film itself. So let's start with that. Let's start with performers. Abby Ryder Fortson, she plays Margaret Simon, and she is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I really don't know that much about her work. I've seen her in the Ant-Man films, the first two Ant-Man movies. She's great in those. Of course, now she's growing, and I actually found that when I read up on this movie a little bit, she was actually going through a lot of the same stuff that her character was actually going through simultaneously, and I think it really lends a lot of honesty and truth, frankly, to her performance throughout the film itself. It's just so relatable, and she's so good in the role. She's funny, she's smart, she's really relatable, and just adorable. Really, I can't say enough good things about her. Rachel McAdams plays her mom and does an absolutely fantastic job. Another fantastic performance, and someone who, I've been watching probably 20 years now. I think probably I've been watching films with her, of course Mean Girls, and of course the Doctor Strange movies and things of that nature, a whole litany of films. But when it comes down to it, this is one of my favorite performances I've ever really seen her in, to be honest with you. I found her to be so relatable and so just sweet. I mean, really is what it comes down to. I absolutely loved everything that she really kind of did in her performance, basically, and making sure that she's taking care of her daughter and looking after her and kind of helping her to kind of guide her into adulthood, basically. Because again, a movie like this is so wonderful, and the fact that this is a story about a young woman basically growing up, obviously, and entering womanhood. But it's so relatable to everybody. And that's the great thing about this book. And the film captures that feeling of, 1970, New York, New Jersey, so well, and really kind of fits that time specifically so well, and just make sure that everything is so well done. Production design's amazing in this film. Really not a whole lot to really take you out of it if you're really kind of looking for things to kind of tip that the movie was filmed 2022 probably. I don't think you're really going to necessarily find a lot of them, to be honest with you. Now, as far as performances go, I think there's one that really stands out, at least stood out specifically to me, and then, of course, that's Kathy Bates. And when you're going to talk about someone like Kathy Bates, we all know who she is. She's phenomenal. She's been around for 30 plus years at this point. I've known her at least ever since Misery, I think, was really kind of what her her big breakout film basically was. And ever since then, you talk about any performance she does. One of my personal favorite performances she ever did was actually a film she did with John Travolta called Primary Colors back in, I think, 1998. I remember I was actually working in a movie theater, and I was watching it at my lunch break like every day. I loved it so much, sitting there drinking my Dr. Pepper, eating my nachos, and watching her, and she just chews the scenery. Great movie. But whatever, I digress. When it comes down to it, her performance here as Sylvia, her grandmother, is wonderful. You know, everything that you can really kind of hope to basically see from the classic archetype of the Jewish grandmother, she nails it perfectly. She's phenomenal. And really, this movie is so entertaining. It's so charming. It's so sweet. But it's really, really well executed. The direction's phenomenal. And really when it comes down to it, the movie is done so well and it's so relatable to everyone that I really can't imagine anyone not enjoying themselves when they go seeing something like this. When it comes down to it, I think you should absolutely go ahead and go see something like this. It's entertaining, it's funny, it's charming, it's beautiful, and again, more than anything else, it's relatable. And, you know, I think it's a really, really good usage of your time, frankly. A quick shout out to the music director here. Whoever put together the soundtrack, beautiful job. The Guess Who, the Grassroots, and every other incredible you know, bit of music basically you're going to see or hear in this case. It is absolutely wonderful, and I really cannot recommend seeing the movie enough. So when it comes down to it, definitely go see it. If you want to go ahead and use like a star system, you know, out of, let's say, 4 stars. For me, this is a 4. It really is. It just knocks it out of the park. It's sweet, it's charming, it's fun, it's really, really funny, and just a great time at the movies. Support it. This is the kind of movie we basically need more of in theaters, and we're just not getting enough. And let's be honest, you know, it's wonderful. So that's all I'm going to say. Have a great one. Like and subscribe if you like. And thanks again for your time. Take care.